Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time it is for you. Hello, everyone. I'm Eva Marie Everson, the director of Florida Christian Writers Conference. My sidekick is not here today. Once again, she has kid duty. That's the good news about being a grandmother now, and not right, DiAnn? You say, yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay, they're out of the house now. They're out of the house. But guess who I have with me today? I have DiAnn Mills with us, who I would tell you all the awards that she has won, but I'm not even going to bother. She is a fabulous fiction writer, but even more than that, she's my friend and I love her. I really do. I asked DiAnn if she would lead the fiction track this year at Florida Christian Writers Conference. That's 8 hours of teaching with the incomparable DiAnn Mills that you will receive if you want to know more about writing fiction and you come to the Florida Christian Writers Conference. So DiAnn, hello. How is it in Texas today?
It is lovely hot.
Lovely hot.
I love the heat. I love the humidity because it's home.
Mm.
And it is, the last couple of weeks, it's been very, very hot and humid, but I like humid. And then in the afternoon, it's like we live in the tropics. We get this thunderstorm.
Yes.
And then it cools things off until the next day.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I was remembering, Eva? Remember when you came to my house for one weekend and you ended up having to sleep on the couch?
I don't remember sleeping on the couch. Why did I do that?
I don't know. I have no clue why when I have a guest bed. But I
don't know. I don't remember sleeping on the couch unless, like, for some reason I was staying with you for the last minute maybe. But what I do remember is that you had Bath and Body Works products in your guest bathroom. That's what I remember. And it was a kiwi scent.
Oh.
And I fell in love with it and came right home and bought some. So
women are so predictable.
I know. The little things we remember. Well, I'm glad you like the heat. I don't. I do not like the heat. I don't know why I'm in Florida. It's miserable hot here. Although I will say that 85% of the year, it's so beautiful here. So I guess that's why I tolerate it. I really should be a snowbird. I don't know why I'm not, but yeah, the only good thing about humidity is that it's wonderful for your skin. And so that's probably what you and I are thinking about. Yeah.
Absolutely.
It is. It's really good. Actually, DiAnn and I are both in our 90s. It's hard to believe.
Oh,
no, but let's get serious. So you're going to teach the fiction track. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Oh, I'm so excited because I love teaching fiction. I love putting it all together. I love the fact that you didn't say to me, oh, DiAnn, just teach something on characterization or dialogue or plot, because you can't. It's impossible. And Eva, as you already know, is that you can't teach one aspect of fiction without bringing it all in. Mm-hmm. So we will begin with characterization. And I'm very excited about that because I am a character-driven novel. Yeah, I believe that if I ask a whole room full of people, what is your favorite book and why? And it'll be the character.
It's a character-driven novel. Mm-hmm.
So we will begin with that, and we will work through characterization, and I'll have lots of handouts. I'll have handouts for everything.
Okay.
And anyway, I'm very excited about starting with characterization, and then we'll move on to plotting and how that character affects plotting and what you can do with it. And oh my goodness, developing an antagonistic setting, emotion. The reason we keep turning pages because we're so into it. And even some self-editing, but
good.
We'll touch on symbolism too. I am just very excited. I'm very passionate about teaching fiction.
Yeah, I'm so glad. First of all, 2 comments here. The first one is, you said that about characters. I've always said, if you get to know your characters, they will tell you the story.
Oh, yes.
I learned that a long time ago back in 1993, my grandmother was in her 90s. She was a storyteller from the word go. I realized that if I did not hurry up and get her on film, I would never have that opportunity again. And
Mhm.
so I just sat with her with my camcorder, and she was such a character. But that was actually when I realized I wasn't even writing at the time, but I thought, you know what? I'm getting to know her and in ways I would have never done before, because she told me stories of her childhood, of meeting my grandfather, marrying my grandfather, having children and working the farm. They were tenant farmers. But the more she talked, the more I realized this character is telling me the story of her life. And so that's when it dawned on me. If you get to know the characters, they will tell you the story that you need to tell for them. The second thing is this thing about symbolism, which I think is so important. I just got through reading the ARC, which you and I know, and hopefully everybody listening knows, is the advanced reader copy of a novel titled Tempest. And it's C.J. Campbell's debut novel. I call her Claire, but it's C.J. Campbell. It's her debut novel. It is dystopian, which is not my typical read, but she asked me if I would read it, and I said I would. Got totally sucked into it. And yesterday afternoon, I finished it. And all of a sudden, the symbolism began to strike me. And I got on the phone with her editor, who I happen to know very well because I gave birth to her. Um, and, and I said, oh my gosh, this is this, and this is this. And I said, it's like reading C.S. Lewis. And so I'm so glad you said that, because the symbolism that is, especially in Christian novels, I think is vital.
Oh, absolutely. And you can't just have them dumped into the
No.
manuscript. It has to be subtle. It has to be powerful. It's like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
If there had been a ring and a necklace and a bracelet, we wouldn't have gotten the intensity of the faith that is in that novel and
Yeah.
what that ring symbolized.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
I want to show writers how that is done and how to read that again with character, with genre. You
Mhm.
mentioned dystopian. I love dystopian. And it's still the suspenseful read.
Right.
It's, oh my goodness. And I'm going to have to get that gal's book as soon as
Oh my goodness. So good. It is so good. But the thing is your work doesn't have to be dystopian. It does not have to be Tempest. It does not have to be Lord of the Rings or The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe to have symbolism.
right, right. That reminds me of something. Years ago, I was invited to speak at this, what I called a hoity-toity book club,
Yeah.
and I was a little nervous, but I was there. One of the ladies said to me, oh, I love the symbolism. And I thought, what symbolism? What did I do? And I said, I'm so glad. What was your favorite part of that symbolism? So I could talk so that I could understand myself. And she said, oh, it was one of the Sudan novels. And it was the second one. And it was her husband bought the heroine this like a tank kind of vehicle to protect her from all the fighting and things. And he believed that would protect her. Well, I blew it up. And so she liked the symbolism that no matter what we do, that God was in control. And I thought, thank you. I will remember that forever.
Yeah. It wasn't intentional, but okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah, it's funny. My novel, Chasing Sunsets.
Mhm.
One of the things that I was trying to impart, some little trinket of wisdom, was that a father's role in the life of his children, or the lives of his children, is vital. And that he reflects the father's love and the father's attitude toward his children. And so few, like, a few people got it, but it opens with a character who she's divorced from her husband. He's been unfaithful. They're having this, tug of war with the kids. And so what do I get is I get all this email about, thank you for showing us that there is life after divorce. Well, that wasn't the point that I was trying to make, but I could see where they were getting that. But I would often say, well, what did you think about the symbolism of the fathers? The different fathers, because there were bad fathers in the book, and there were good fathers, and then there were okay fathers. But I kept trying to weave that in, and like, oh yeah, I got that too. But really, they were more driven by something I had never intended. So, it's kind of like you with the tank that blew up.
And I think that's the exciting part about a symbol, is that the reader doesn't have to get it
No.
for the story not to be rich.
Right. Yeah. And that's a good thing about fiction too, that, you can write it and it's going to, a reader is going to react to it based on their experience. And that will be completely different than another reader who will react to it based on their experience.
Yes.
Yeah. For sure. Okay, so DiAnn, do you have any prerequisites for those who want to come in and be a part of the continuing class? Do you have to already have a novel written? Do you have to have a synopsis? What are you looking for the participants?
For the advanced writer, I want to offer, possibly it may be a review of what they already know, but also a different perspective in looking at the craft. For the new writer, the brand new writer, I know I want to write fiction, or I think I want to write fiction. What do I do? Where do I go? Where do I start? Well, I love this because I can massage your craft and get that writer going. And for the writer also who writes nonfiction, but wants to add a little more flavor, a little more, I don't want to say entertaining, but that is exactly what I mean. No matter how badly someone is hurting and picks up a nonfiction book or has to learn something, if they can use a few fiction techniques,
that's true.
The reader really appreciates.
That's very true. Yeah, there was a nonfiction writer who years ago was just selling like hotcakes, and I noticed, and I'm not a huge nonfiction reader, but one of the things that I noticed was that in all of his books, there was story. He began with story in each chapter. He wove in stories, and so on and so forth. And so he took the fiction techniques and pulled them into his nonfiction and made them entertaining. And yet you learned at the same time the points that he was trying to make. So in other words, if you're a beginner, if you're an intermediate, if you're advanced, you can come into your class and learn something.
Oh, yes. And we'll all learn from each other too.
Yes, I love that. Now, everyone listen, we get asked this a lot. Do I need to sign up ahead of time? No, you will simply go to DiAnn's class. DiAnn's, the continuing classes will begin on Thursday afternoon, and then we'll continue. There'll be 2 hours on Thursday afternoon. We'll continue for 2 hours on Friday morning, Saturday morning, and Sunday morning. And one of the things that I love about the continuing classes too is that bonds are formed, and people they'll exchange email addresses and ideas, and they'll bounce things off of each other. You just never know who you're going to meet in these continuing classes.
Oh, and I love that. Those unexpected moments of, oh, wow, I've been reading your work, or I've been seeing your social media posts, or, hey, we could be critique partners.
Yes. Yes.
Everything.
Yes.
And get them on board with word weavers.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh. So it's, and you know what? There is a workshop I'm also teaching on creating a thread of romance in your novel. And we don't really have time for that in the continuing class. But for all of those male and female who were thinking, I would like to have a thread of romance because mostly women buy novels. So what does that mean? So I will be giving that as a workshop too, and that's exciting and fun.
Oh, yes, yes. I'm glad you mentioned that as well. Okay, DiAnn, thank you so much for sharing with us and talking to us about your continuing class. Again, if you want to be taught by the incredible DiAnn Mills, you have to come to Florida Christian Writers Conference. That's the only way it's going to happen. And here's something I want you to know. Yeah, she is like a bestseller. She is way up there. She's won so many awards, but DiAnn is very personable and she's very hands-on. So if you think that she's going to keep you at arm's length, no, I can say no, that is not who DiAnn Mills is. She's very warm. She's very open. You're going to love sitting under her teaching. But again, in order to be there, you have to sign up. So go to word-weavers.com/Florida events, and then you can find out more about the conference and you can register and all that good stuff. The reason you go to word-weavers.com is because Florida Christian Writers Conference is owned by Word Weavers International. Thank you again, Miss DiAnn, for being a part of this. And
Excited.
yeah, for you guys out there, we will see you again with the next episode of what's happening at Florida Christian Writers Conference in 2021. And I will get to see DiAnn in October, as hopefully you will too. All right. Bye for now.